Welcome back, everybody, to Caravan of Garbage, where, due to a very special event, an almost once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see a new Indiana Jones film, Mason.
Oh, you were just talking about the release of a movie.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's not a big deal to you?
That's a big
You don't
deal.
love big movie?
I love big movie, James. Don't
Okay,
get me
good.
wrong. I love big movie.
They don't come around that often.
Movies?
Indiana Jones, they made 3 in the 80s.
Uh-huh.
And that's bloody it, am I right? There's only bloody 3 Indiana Jones. That's the only ones I can
Nice.
consider. I bought the 4th Blu-ray and I blew it up with a stick of dynamite.
So you're...
Anyways, we're going through the trilogy. Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom.
James, it's Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost
No,
Ark.
it's not. They changed it, Mason. I'm angry about it. Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom, Crystal Skull. We're gonna hit them all.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
No,
That's the
we'll do
stuff.
all 4. We'll do all 4. Starting with this one, what I like about this one...
The first one.
It's so real. Which is a weird thing to say, but like the foliage, the sweat... Everyone looks like they're going to shit their pants. Like at any second. Which is true of the actual filming of this.
That is true.
Everybody had dysentery. I know, like famously, the swordsman fight was cut out because Harrison Ford was like, I'm going to shit my pants. Can I shoot him with a gun, please? Which is a very real world thing that would happen, I feel.
Yeah. And isn't it fascinating that Harrison Ford admitted to that? Or somebody did.
Yeah.
Somebody spilled and he went, yeah, that's true, actually. Because he could have said, I thought it'd be a funnier joke if I just shot him.
Yeah.
And everybody would have said, we agree with you, you're very handsome.
You're a genius, and as far as we can tell, nothing else is going on with you.
That's right.
You know how, like, some people, and it's not just actors, but it's people.
Okay.
They've just got it, you know?
Yeah.
There's nobody like young Harrison Ford.
Absolutely.
They just don't exist. He's a unicorn, Mason.
Yeah.
And I know, like, Die Hard is credited for, like, introducing the everyday action man. And I guess that's true in the sense that, like, you know, it was in the modern day and it came after, like, the muscle-bound heroes. But this is a little bit before that. It's obviously because all of the stunts are real.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff, like, Harrison Ford does himself for this one, not so much the next one, which we'll talk more about next week. But it just... I can't even explain it, Mason.
I would argue also that everybody in this movie has got it.
Yes.
Like, I would argue that Karen Allen's got it.
Yep.
Jonathan Rhys-Davies and...
He's got it.
They've all got it. All the other people.
The other people do have it.
You threw me off because I was like, I'm going to name some people and you're going to go, he's got it. And then it just threw me. I couldn't think of a single other person. The guy that plays Belloc.
Sure.
Like, I think the best part of this movie, for me personally, it's probably the action set pieces.
Yeah.
And past that, it's the casting. Like, I think Spielberg has like a gift for casting all these people to make even like maybe uninteresting scenes feel compelling. Like the scene where...
They've got it.
Yeah, they've got... exactly. There's the scene where Indy is explaining to the government guys like the significance of the staff and the... And the Spielberg's cast a couple of government guys who were like, ooh, how interesting.
Yeah.
Ooh.
They've got it.
They've got the skill at like just listening intently.
Yeah, you're
And I loved
absolutely
it.
right. And you probably know this, and a lot of people who watch this probably do. But, you know, for those who don't, Spielberg's dream was to direct a Bond movie. And until recently, you had to be British to direct a Bond film.
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so George Lucas came up with this concept of this, like, pulpy 1930s, 40s kind of action hero, which is a throwback to, like, serials of that era. After he'd made Star Wars, he was on a holiday, and he's like, I don't know, he could be like, he's a ladies' man, and he's a grave robber, and he's a defiler of history. What do you think? Are you interested?
Sounds like he's got it.
Yeah, he absolutely does got it. And I just think, as an archetype, it's a reintroduction of things we've seen before. But again, like, it just feels very fresh.
Yeah. By night, grave-robbing archeologist, action adventurer, you know. By day, sexy college professor who's just constantly trying to avoid unwanted advances from young women.
And doing work.
Yeah, also doing
marking,
work.
you know,
Yeah,
writing exams, reports, etc., and so forth.
Everyone gets a B. I bet everyone in his class gets a B.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What I love about this also, you know, that idea that everything is real. There's like real spiders and snakes. And, you know, unlike one of the movies which people, you know, do not like, The Last Crusade. There's a lot of like CGI rats and things in that, which people don't care for. And I understand that. I get where people are coming from. But this one, before we hit that CGI era, Mason, of 1989, it's just...
Melina's got so many spiders on it.
I was going to say like a back full of tarantulas. That's crazy.
It's amazing he's still in the movie industry at all. I would have given up after that, honestly.
Completely agree. The other thing is, I love, and I'm sure you can speak to this more, the assorted looks that Indiana Jones has.
Yes.
Like you've got his classic attire that he opens with. You know, it's the khaki shirt and the leather jacket in the rainforest and whatever and all of that. And then you've got his professor attire. He's got his airplane traveling suit.
Oh my God, I'd forgotten about that one. A bit more profesh.
Yeah, that's right.
Less tweedy, very double-breasted pinstriped, absolutely.
He's got his driving gloves if he wants to do a big truck action sequence, which I appreciate. So this look is actually based off Charlton Heston's outfit from the movie Secret of the Incas. I don't know if you've ever seen any images of that, but it's identical. It's just ripped straight from that, which is fine. I'm okay with it. Because look, frankly, who wore it better? Come on. Let's be real, Mason. And like you mentioned, just the action sequences are just so fun and well thought out and staged.
For the most part. There is a moment. There's
the bit where he takes that punch and he flips the wrong way.
Yeah, there's that, but there's also a moment where there's a fight in the market, the market stall area kind of thing.
Yeah.
And clearly Spielberg's gone, okay, Karen, Indy's going to be punching some guys, so if you could just like pick up a piece of pottery and just lightly brush somebody on the head with it.
Sure,
just do some stuff, just do some background stuff if you wouldn't mind, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. But just like the scrappy fighting that's going on, he's just destroying people's livelihoods and laundry. At one point, a truck goes past and he just lines up the driver and he just executes him.
Yeah.
Like straight up.
Yeah.
Incredible, Mason.
It's pretty good, right?
Just point blank.
Yes.
Shoots a guy in the head. Man. And the only person who didn't get sick on this was apparently Spielberg because he only ate SpaghettiOs. He brought that over and somehow survived on that. It's amazing.
Steven Spaghettio.
Yeah.
The fact that that's not his nickname in Hollywood is astounding then.
I mean, I don't know what that would do to your insides because I can't imagine it would be much better than what was happening to everybody else.
Maybe in that scene where we're introduced to Marion, he drew on his own life experiences. He's like, listen, Karen, just imagine you're eating 10 bowls of SpaghettiOs, but you've got an iron stomach. She's like, what? It's like, it doesn't affect you because you love SpaghettiOs, but for whiskey or whatever.
Yeah. I think my favorite action sequence in this, though, is the truck rescue. Everyone's just fucking eating dirt, just rolling around in it. People are going off cliffs. He fights German Paul Hogan. It's just all good, man. It just... the blood and the glass and bits like falling off the truck as he's scrambling around it and just the leaping about and like swiping Nazis off, rushing them against trees.
Like some spiders off Alfred Molina's back.
Exactly. Just incredible. Yeah. Like to this day, the idea that you got Harrison Ford and you're just dragging him behind a truck in real life.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, couldn't do it these days in this PC culture.
It's true. I love all of that.
My favorite action sequence, I think, remains him fighting the giant guy on top of the plane.
Yeah, well,
and it's spinning around, and the gasoline's slowly making its way towards the trucks and the fire, and oh my God.
And a lot of that stuff that you do today with propellers or helicopters in movies, that has to be CGI due to safety reasons, obviously. And just the fact that you can't do that here. I mean, you're probably not going to use like real propellers, but it just looks so good. All of that. Man, everyone's getting a machine gun. It's insane. This is an insane movie. When you look at it as something like you haven't been watching since a kid, the fact that somebody made this in this era is just wild to me. Anyways, there is the criticism, and you might be aware of this. It's a popular rumor that's been going around for years.
A rumor?
It's a rumor, a theory. I think it was popularized on The Big Bang Theory.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's that if Indiana Jones wasn't there, everything would probably be fine.
Yeah.
Like, if he wasn't there, the Nazis probably never would have found the location of the Ark.
Yeah.
And it would probably have taken them a really long time. And then even if they did, they would just probably open the Ark and they'd all die. And then another expedition of Nazis would show up and they would open the Ark and they would die and so on and so forth. And then there wouldn't be a World War II.
Exactly.
Thanks a lot, Indiana Jones.
But I don't believe that, like, them opening it in the desert and him being there, that's integral that he survives that to get it out of there. Because without him there, where does it go? What happens to it? He needs to be there to call the Americans and go, "You're not going to believe this. You're going to have to come and get me." I closed my eyes, but I think it was God. I'm pretty confident it was God.
Mom, can you come and get me? Andy, this is Army Intelligence. Army Intelligence, can you come and get me?
Yeah, and if you look at like what he does along the way, he kills like 40 to 50 Nazis. I mean, other people as well, but Nazis. I think that's important.
Sure.
You know, he saves Marion, like at the bar, like who knows what was going to happen to her at that point. And them rekindling their relationship leads to the creation of Mutt Williams, which is that's probably the most important thing that happens in all of these movies.
I think so too. That guy can wear the heck out of a leather jacket.
Yeah.
Who would be a friend to the apes if not for Mutt Williams swinging through the trees?
Exactly, yeah.
So what you're saying is if Indiana Jones wasn't there, things wouldn't have worked out so well for Indiana Jones.
That's what
It's
I'm
all
saying.
personal growth and big time bonuses for old mate Henry Jones here.
I think also like Indiana Jones was being followed, right? So I think Balok probably knows about the Ravenwoods outside of Indiana Jones. So I think this was something like he was across regardless.
Yes.
So, you know, but there is a question of if the Nazis retrieved this magic box with God in it.
Yeah.
What do you do with that? Like, can you refract the laser that comes out of it with mirrors to shoot London? What do you do with it?
That's a really good point.
Do you send it in? Do you like send it as a gift?
Sure, you Trojan horse it. Maybe you do. You guss it up as something quintessentially British.
Yeah.
Like a Morris Minor. And then you drive it into Parliament or Buckingham Palace. And
you write for Churchill on the side of it.
Yes, and the Queen, you write. Or the King.
Yeah, King.
King and Queen, maybe.
Sure, yeah.
Get them
why
both.
not?
Knock them both off in one fell swoop. Yeah, maybe. But then also, like, Indy and Marion survive by just closing their eyes.
Yeah.
But is there more to it than that? Because otherwise, I guess it would work until everybody just realizes they need to close their eyes.
Sure, yeah.
But also, maybe it just kills Nazis. Maybe closing your eyes is no different. And maybe you open it up on the battlefield and it just kills Churchill.
I mean,
we know what you're going to do, Churchill.
Yeah, that's not a terrible outcome. If you don't know, maybe look into it. Maybe type Churchill famine into Google and just do some light reading. Just go from there. I would have loved, though, if Indiana Jones did shoot it with a rocket launcher.
Yes, right.
Because what the fuck does that look like?
Yeah,
you
right.
know?
God's Wrath being shot with a bloody anti-tank missile. Who knows, man?
That would have been insane.
Right?
Yeah. And I guess my question is as well, what's the message of the movie? Is it don't look at God? Like, God fucking hates you, don't even have a peek? I don't know. So, I like his glasses, right? I like his glasses.
Okay,
I'm going to change direction here for a second,
right.
if you don't mind.
From God's Wrath on Earth to his little glasses, sure.
Yeah. But I think, and this is going to be something that evolves over the three movies, I think there's like an inconsistency in his use of them. Because his teaching has got him on, which says to me that they're reading glasses, right?
Sure.
But he seems also not to have a problem seeing somebody at a distance. Like if somebody's written something on their eyelids, hypothetically, he can see that.
He can see that, yeah.
But then when he's off on his little adventures,
He doesn't need them at all.
he doesn't need them at all. I just want to keep an eye on this over the next few movies.
All right. I mean, a theory is emerging, of course, that they are fashion specs.
Yes, that is what I'm implying.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, is it like a disguise? Is it almost like a Clark Kent, like alter ego kind of thing?
Oh, okay.
You know?
Right.
More of a metaphor.
Or maybe he's just Mr. Magooing it out there. maybe he can't see. I mean, you know.
I mean, he did shoot that guy in the head.
Maybe he was aiming for his arm. I'll just wing this guy and, no.
Now, Mason, I want to talk about ages. The only thing I really need to cover, I feel, is the ages of everybody at the time that they filmed this movie.
Okay, the ages of the actors or the characters.
Which would have been 1980, which is when this was filmed. Harrison Ford was 38.
Okay.
Karen Allen was 29.
Okay.
Paul Freeman, Balok, 37.
What?
Yes.
Wow.
Here's one for you.
Yep.
John Rhys Davies, 36.
Incredible.
William Hootkins, 32. That's Porkins. He's one of the government guys. Yeah. Love all of that. Is there anything else we need to discuss which is, say, age-related to the movie Indiana Jones?
I mean, I don't think we have to.
Now, look, I need you to know that if you want to go into this, I do have extensive notes.
All right, then let's do it.
Okay. For those people who don't know, the script states that Marion is 25 years old during this movie.
Okay.
Right? And it's mentioned that she had an affair with Indiana Jones 10 years earlier. Which would have made him roughly 27 years old.
Okay. And she's 15.
15. Yeah. Now, George Lucas apparently said
Yes.
that it would be more interesting if the dynamic was she's 15. Like, because then it's like, maybe don't. That's bad that you did that. But Spielberg's like, why don't we just make her 16 or 18? Wouldn't that?
Yeah, sure. It was last year. What can happen in a year?
Yeah. And here's the thing, though.
Yes.
Karen Allen has come out recently in defense of this, and she said, look, it was wrong and you knew it. I think maybe that he led her on in some way, but when she said she was a child, I think she meant she was 16, something like that. So yeah, the idea that, you know...
Well, they are all coming to Disney Plus in the US very shortly at time of recording, and I'm wondering if maybe there'll be a cheeky edit in the new version where she's like, Indy, you took advantage of me. I was only in my mid-20s, and you were also in your mid-20s. We were the same age.
What I think is funny also is that it's mentioned that Indiana Jones and Abner Ravenwood had a falling out. Mm-hmm. And it's this, I assume, right?
Yeah.
Look, and now I know, a lot of people might be coming to the comments and going, what are you going on about? It was the 1920s. It was a different time. But just remember that you're defending fictional characters and a terrible thing. I just need people to bear that in mind,
right,
you know?
Yeah.
Nobody's happy about this. Yeah. Nobody needs to justify any of it. It is how it is, I guess.
Yeah, and if you're going to complain about inconsistencies, the gun that he looks at before he throws it in the suitcase, it's a different gun. He looks at the gun, and then he throws it in the suitcase, it's a different gun.
That's incredible.
Slightly different. Also, they didn't have Walter P-38s in 1936.
No?
They came out in 1938.
Where'd he get it?
The future, probably.
Yeah, but also, I think a bunch of stuff in this movie didn't happen.
No, that's also true, yeah. Maybe God sent it to him.
Probably. Anyways, everybody, it's time for...
How does he have a Browning high power in 1936, James? I know they came out in 1935, but an American with a British handgun?
You're saying
a mere year later?
Mason, there's probably a video game or a comic or a novella...
that explains where he got the gun.
This is where he got it from.
Yeah.
Britain. Yeah. Winston Churchill gave it to him.
Winston Churchill gave it to him. Thanks for stealing all this stuff, Indy, and we'll pop it right in the British Museum. Here's a gun in exchange. You can shoot anybody you like with it.
Anyways, it's time for Raiders of the Lost Trivia. This is a trivia segment of the show where we look at some things and go, wow, this is some fun little tidbits. It also stops people from pointing out obvious things we didn't mention.
Yeah.
So Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine, a popular video game, Tomb Raider style, has a bonus mission where you actually return to Peru and you retrieve a second idol.
Oh.
You didn't know there were two idols, did you?
No. It's so you can get to replay the scene where you grab the idol and the big boulders falling after you, yeah.
So Spielberg's first choice for this role was Ford, but Lucas didn't want to cast Harrison Ford again off the back of American Graffiti and then, of course, Star Wars, because he didn't want to be like, De Niro was with Scorsese. He didn't want that kind of dynamic.
Okay, yeah.
So they actually went for Tom Selleck.
Okay, Magnum P.I.
Exactly, but he was, of course, committed to Magnum P.I. There's actually a screen test of him and Sean Young playing out one of the scenes. But of course, he did make a number of Indiana Jones knockoffs. There was High Road to China a couple years after this.
Okay.
There was Quigley Down Under.
Quigley did go down under.
Which sounds like a sequel to...
Quigley 1. Quigley in America. Yeah.
Quigley in his home state.
That's right.
Friends.
Of Quiggleton.
Even his character in Friends. All of these people trying to recapture the magic of Indiana Jones, and they didn't quite get there.
Then Harrison Ford was in Blade Runner with Sean Young.
Yep.
Huh.
He actually got Blade Runner off the back of this, because they went, wow, he's actually an incredible actor. Yeah.
Should we use the George Lucas rule of don't use a really charismatic actor who makes successful movies again?
Yeah.
No, let's just hire him, I reckon.
So if anybody wants to do this, here's a little hint for you. The way they got that monkey to do a Nazi salute is to hold a grape up on a string. Took 50 takes.
There you go.
You know?
They could have put the monkey's arm on a string.
No. Oh. Grapes.
Or they could have indoctrinated it into Nazism, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, that's 50 takes indoctrination. They can't be that different in time span.
I think so.
Yeah. So you've probably heard this though, but there's been much discussion about how does he jump on the submarine and survive that trip? Like how do you get inside a submarine that's submerging, right?
Now, I think Is it the case that back in the day, submarines mostly didn't submerge that far? Mm-hmm. Is that it?
That's right. They actually filmed this scene, and there are some images that survived it. He lashes himself to the periscope and just gets dragged the entire way there.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. And I want to end on this piece of Raiders of the Lost trivia.
Oh, yes.
It's the Paul Freeman ate a fly controversy.
Who's that?
Belloc.
Oh, yeah. That famously youthful actor.
Yeah, I know, right? So, the moment where Indiana Jones is threatening to blow up the Ark, which, by the way, he should have done because it would have been insane.
Right, yeah.
You see a fly crawl into Paul Freeman's mouth, and it does not fly away.
I see. That's against the very spirit of the fly to not fly away.
Exactly. So people have analyzed this in like 4K and HD restorations or whatever.
Okay.
And that fly
Yes.
does definitely not leave his mouth. That's important that you know that. But apparently what happened is, this is the rumor, that there are actually a couple of frames that are missing in this that were cut out as a joke. So it looks like they recognized it, and it looks like that he ate the fly.
Right.
I don't know whether that's true, but that's the story.
The frames are out there. They must be. You know, some people collect individual animation cells.
Yeah.
Some billionaire somewhere's got a couple of frames of a fly coming out of a man's mouth, and he's like, "Look at this."
Now, the box office for this, on a budget of $20 million, it made $367 million, with also a couple of re-releases around the time. It was the biggest movie of the year. This is also the only Indiana Jones movie to be nominated for Best Picture, which again speaks to like, nobody had made something like this. It's wild.
Yeah.
The only one that comes close is Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. You know?
I do know that.
And we'll get to it. That's my third movie, Mason.
Yeah, I see where this is going. Yes, I get it.
It's not a joke, Mason. I'm serious about it.
It is a joke, and you're being silly. You're being a silly Billy.
Maybe some people don't like us to be silly. Or maybe they do. And if they are interested in a bit more silliness, that's paywalled.
Two silly Billies.
That's right. You can head over to bigsandwich.co, where if you sign up, there's a bunch of exclusive stuff. There's video game Let's Plays.
That's right.
There's movie commentaries. There's bonus podcasts.
That's right.
Our podcast, The Weekly Planet, where we talk movies and comics and TV shows, that comes out there early on Sunday as opposed to Monday. And of course, these videos, Caravan of Garbage. Lawrence, who's editing this particular set of films, is getting them done early, and they are going up early if you do want to see them.
Thank you, Lawrence.
But it will cost you
That's right.
money. It's not.
Better loot some tombs then.
You're gonna have to.
I guess.
You do what you can, or if you just want to support us here and whatever, or you know this is your last video, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's all good, man. All right, join us next week for Temple of Doom. And you might be like, isn't that a really nasty movie? And wasn't it nasty because both George Lucas and Steven Spielberg had divorces like around the time
They
that this was
divorced
made?
one another.
They did. Anyway, we'll get to it. We'll talk
right,
about
great.
it next week. Thanks everybody for watching.
Rub that jam, you guys. We'll see you next week.
Goodbye.